I will call the Tuesday, December 11th, 2018 regular council meeting to order. Prior to getting going, I'd like to welcome Mr. Miles Bruns and Starlene Clark of the Economic Development Division of Forest Lands, Natural Resources Office and Rural Development. Did I get that right, Miles?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Close enough.
Operations, not office. Item 2.1, adoption of the agenda for the December 11th, 2018 regular meeting with council. That it be adopted as amended to delete item 4.1, the RCMP delegation, and to add 15.1, notice to proceed in camera. Motion please, as amended. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Pearson. Any further additions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting of council, that the November 27th regular meeting of council be adopted as amended to include item 16.2, reporting out in-camera resolution 9518. Motion please, as amended. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Pearson. Any errors or omissions in those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. No delegation. We have a recommendation from the committee of the whole in item 5.1 that staff be directed to draft a survey regarding retail cannabis sales and public consumption of cannabis so that citizens may provide feedback to the village with respect to the matter. Councillor Blanchette, seconder. Councillor Pearson. Discussion? Councillor Blanchette.
This is the first step of many, so I just want, everybody to be aware that this is just step one.
Other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 6.1, Regional District request for letter of support application for grant funding, that the villages of Valemount support the Regional District Fraser Fort George application for grant funding for the Canoe Valley Recreation Center Chiller Project. Motion please to Councillor MacLean, Councillor G. Discussion. Somewhere in that letter, Mr. Fleming, can you instill in that the Canoe Valley Rec Center has been a focal point of sport and recreation since 1965. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Community Sports Day Association request that the Valemount Community Sports Day Association be directed to contact the Village of Valemount administrative staff regarding contract, business license, and insurance requirements for the proposed Sports Day festivities, and contact the Superintendent of Public Works to review and receive permission for all activities that are proposed to take place in Centennial Park. Motion please. Councillor Blanchette. Councillor G. Discussion? Yes.
I'd just like to commend the Sports Days Committee for getting a jump on this. It's really great.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 7, reading file. Is there anything in the reading file that anybody would like to take out of the reading file for discussion? Item 8.1, council meeting schedule for 2019. That the amended council meeting schedule, now including meeting dates for, council meeting schedule now including meeting dates for November and December 2019 be approved by council. Motion please, Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Local Government Management Association commemorative tree in item 8.2, that staff be authorized to proceed with selecting 2 trees to plant in a location recommended by municipal staff, and to arrange commemorative tree planting ceremony in recognition of the BC Local Government Management Association's 100th anniversary. Councillor Pearson, Councillor MacLean, discussion. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Council procedure. Public comment 8.3, that council retain its current procedure for public comment. Prior to hearing a motion, I will open it for discussion with that motion. Councillor Blanchette. Councillor MacLean, it is now open for discussion. Councillor Blanchette.
So I would like to, I appreciate staff's work on this, but I would like to see if we could move it to the front and give it a try. I think if we do that, we need to add some guidelines and some structure, but I'd like us to try it.
Further discussion?
That was pretty much what I wanted to say as well, that it is very important to a lot of people in town. And I appreciate that, like Hollie said, the work that staff did on it, but I would like to see us give it a try too. And that staff could draw some guidelines that would keep it orderly and keep it short enough, that it was manageable, and we could try it and see how it worked. That's my thinking as well.
I like it. Councillor Pearson.
Well, I really appreciate CAO Fleming's information on it. I mean, I know we all spoke to it during the campaign and that, and it was a bit of an eye-opener in reading the pros and cons and the fact, the numbers of communities that keep it the way it is. I think going forward, if we do look at doing it as a trial, there's going to have to be a lot of research on how we can format it so that it doesn't take over our meetings. Because the current process of having a delegation in to speak to the meeting, and then the agenda, if we open up public comment after the fact, I think it could make for some interesting discussion, just because it's not necessarily speaking to the agenda, it's in advance. So I'd recommend a lot of research in seeing the processes have to be put in place for timing and discussion.
Well, it will mean a change to our procedural bylaw, just because of where it is in the agenda. Some other cautions that I did some benchmarking of my own over the weekend, and a little bit this morning. Many of the municipal districts in the Capital Regional District, so on the island, there are huge boundaries, huge tax base. They do have public participation earlier in the agenda. They have a 20-minute, some cases a 15-minute time limit. Any and all can discuss any and all subject matter, regardless if it's on the agenda or not. It does open the opportunity for somebody to say, well, I didn't get my chance to speak because I was 17 minutes in. So they are limited to 2 and 3 minutes in some cases, whereas some of the smaller municipalities throughout the province have them, as we have them now, status quo, because of the staff resources that are needed to really bring in those questions, and also to give feedback to those questions, because a lot of them aren't just comments. I noticed in reports such and such that there's a discrepancy with column A and column B, and if we don't have half of our senior staff here or the author of that report having that comment, really doesn't give any satisfaction to the person making the comment or having the question. And certainly don't want to be a council that says, well, I don't really know, but I'll get that answer for you. But I also don't want to be that council that says, well, we can BS our way through here and we'll find you half a question. My other questions to council are, prior to your fact-based decisions, what does the potential of emotional input impact that? Does it really improve the democratic process? Or does it limit it? My reason for bringing that question up, will it create more transparency or less by the formation of cliques and community divisions? Can Grandma Martha actually participate this way when potentially her Meals on Wheels is coming at 6:30? Will it actually increase the sharing of info and us receiving the benefit of different perspectives? And will the issues that are brought to council, will they be understood more clearly or less clearly if you're receiving public comment versus what's written in the report from diligent and hopefully duly staff? So I'm up for a trial, but those are my cautions. Councillor Blanchette.
I think that the guidelines and having some structure, and I think that the public that are coming to our meetings have read the agenda, so they're well informed. So I'd like to think that when they come and they have a comment to make, it's something that maybe they didn't read here that we didn't know. So I just think we need to find that balance somewhere, because there has been over time some issues that have come up and somebody has made a remark at the end and I didn't know that. Would it have changed my mind? I don't know. I can't say yes or no to that at this time. But I don't know everything. Somebody else might know something I don't. So I think that it's worth giving everybody a chance and see how it works, and we can take it off the table if we find it's not working. We might find we benefit really well from it.
Further comments, discussion? All in favor of receipt of discussion? Opposed, carried. Motion please to follow. Councillor Blanchette.
Sorry, say that again?
What is your motion?
I would like to make a motion that we move the public comment to the beginning of our agenda, and that staff see about making some guidelines and some structure that will help move the meeting along.
Seconder, may I ask for a friendly amendment? That public participation be moved to after item 2 and before the adoption of the previous minutes. Because we actually do need to move the agenda prior to receiving comment on that. Would you welcome that? Thank you. That was an awesome discussion, you guys. Discussion on the motion. Councillor G.
Are we going to specify what our trial period is going to be? How long do we want to try it before we revisit it and review whether it's working or not?
It's up to you.
Would you like to?
I think it's better if we have okay, let's try this for 6 months and then review it and see how it works.
It'll take,
Or.
because will there be a public hearing on the adoption of the changing of the procedural bylaw?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Let's get the fact that we're moving it to earlier in the agenda off of the table. Councillor
Just
Pearson?
so clarifying, so we will be moving it to after adoption of agenda and previous to adoption of the minutes?
Yeah, so public participation will be item 3, and then each will be subsequent after that.
Okay.
Further discussion on the motion on the floor of movement to item 3, public participation? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Councillor G, did you want to bring a motion that there'd be a trial time?
I would think that if we're going to say we're going to try it and see if it works, that we should set a time frame and then review it after that, whatever that time frame might be. Just so that we know what to expect and the public knows what to expect.
Would you like to make that motion into a motion?
Sure. So I would like to make a motion that we put a set time frame on our public comment for 6 months.
Seconder. Okay. Councillor Pearson. Discussion on the 6-month trial period for the movement of the public participation from public comment to item 3. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Did you get all that, Mr. Fleming?
Yes, I did.
I think we've wrapped up 8.3, yeah? All right. Item 8.4, building inspector report, that the report be received for information. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Pearson, any discussion on the building inspector's report? Councillor Blanchette.
Wow. Really good. You know, yeah. We are busy.
Indeed. Further discussion? All in favor of receipt? Opposed, carried. Item 9.1, Village of Valemount Development Procedures Bylaw number 789, that the Village of Valemount Development Procedures Bylaw number 789, 2018 be given first, second, and third readings. Councillor MacLean, Councillor Pearson, discussion. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Council reports. Item 10.1, Councillor Blanchette.
January, or what month are we in? December?
Sure.
Sure. December 3rd, I had a child and youth mental health meeting. And as of January, we will be getting a full-time social worker. And this is fantastic news because we need it. And so this is really, really exciting. And she will be starting in January, and she'll be doing the Robson Valley. Sorry, Twine? Yeah, okay, good. December 6th, I had Robson Valley Community Support Society meeting, and there's a lot going on. All of it is in camera, but I just want to say that RVCS is working really hard for the betterment of the Robson Valley, and good things are coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pearson.
December 4th, attended the tourism committee meeting. And yesterday, December 10th, along with Councillor Jean, Mayor Torgerson, attended the SIMP meet and greet round table in Chuchua at Community Hall. And a quiet and uneventful trip.
Very good. Councillor MacLean.
On November the 29th, I participated in the committee of the whole meeting and Skype interviews for the Chief Administrative Officer position. On November 30th, I went on the village infrastructure tour of the village water intake and plant, the sewage treatment plant. Thank you to Trevor Pelche, Superintendent of Public Works, for guiding us. And on December the 7th, I participated in a live interview for a candidate shortlisted for the CAO position.
Very nice. How did you find the infrastructure tour?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, some parts of it. I would go back to the water plant again. The sewage plant, not so much. Yeah.
Councillor G.
Yeah, November 29th, I was also at the committee of the whole meeting. I was also with the infrastructure tour. Yeah, the sewage plant was lovely. December 10th, I went to Chuchua with Councillor Pearson and Mayor Torgerson, and it was a really good meeting. And I must thank Councillor Pearson for his safe driving and getting us all home. Oh, and I do have one other thing. I was made aware from a member of the public of an issue with our Via Rail station. There was some concern over an individual, I don't know who it was, who was at the station waiting for the train that was supposed to leave at 4 a.m. He was still standing there at 7 a.m. There's no shelter. It was at least -9 with quite a bit of wind, and so it raised some safety concerns. So I would like to ask, if possible, if we can look at what the process would be to get a shelter put there for people that are standing waiting for that train. I don't know who the man was, but you know, if you think of Grandma Martha standing there waiting for a train and their schedules are not always 100% reliable.
Would you like to form that into a motion?
Yes, I would, please. I would like to make a motion that we contact Via Rail, most likely via letter, and ask them if they would be interested in providing a shelter.
Can I have a
I'll
second?
second. Yeah.
Councillor Pearson. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Pearson.
Excuse me, I'd recommend that that letter also go to the Minister of Transportation at the federal level. It is a safety factor, so
On federally legislated rail lines.
that's correct.
Very good. Are you okay with that amendment?
Absolutely.
Okay. All in favor with the amended motion? Opposed, carried. Was that it, Ms. G? Councilor G, sorry. 29th, again, committee of the whole, retail sales, public consumption of recreational cannabis with you all. Skype interviews, that was a long day. On the 7th, I attended a conference call with BC Northern and Interior mayors and chairs, regional district chairs, regarding the draft Section 11 Caribou Protection Agreement, organized by Mayor Lynn Hall, City of Prince George. We're gonna have a follow-up this coming Friday from that discussion. I'll bring a report forward, more information next council. On the 10th, I did also join Councillor Pearson, Councillor G for a meet and greet in Chuchua. I thank our hosts, Sid First Nation, along with the Thompson Nicola Regional District, Regional District Fraser Fort George. I have this all written down for you. Districts of Barrier and Clearwater in the Village of McBride. Again, just thanking our hosts for providing the venue and the terrific discussion topics. And when it comes to emergency management, disaster can affect us all, and it was a really good chance to start and to foster our current relationships with our neighbors. I would like to thank both Councillors G and Pearson for their attendance with me and for the team building emergency management exercise experienced en route home. Special thanks to Councillor Pearson for driving. I can't tell you how many scenarios played out in my mind following that situation. And I thank you both for executing appropriate emergency communication and monitoring of that communication while I attended to the other driver, who was uninjured and much easier to extract up the embankment. And I want to thank the transport community for relaying our radio comms forward to their colleagues and into self-service and onto emergency personnel. And given the driving conditions, I'm really happy with the response time of our local emergency services, and thank them for attending. So lots of fun. Can't wait for another road trip. End of January. And next week. Motion please to receive council reports. Councillors Blanchette, Councillor Pearson, discussion, questions of your colleagues. Hearing none, all in favor, opposed, carried. Item 12.1, that the file tracker be received, please. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor G, discussion on the file tracker. All in favor? Opposed, carried. No motion required for the calendar events. Does anybody have anything to add to the calendar events that perhaps wasn't there prior? Moving on. Item 14.1, public comments on items considered by council as part of this approved agenda. Just stand, state your name and your area of residence. No longer your address. We'll read.
John Grogan, 880 Hillside Drive. With regard to the reading file, I have a letter that I submitted to council. I showed respect in coming to the council meeting today because that letter was on the agenda. I would have thought that somebody on council maybe would have given me a phone call or at least made a recognition that that letter was received. Failing any kind of response from council, I feel that my next duty or democracy is to raise that, my concerns with other branches of government. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Further comments?
T.G. Jamin from Valemount. Thank you for considering comment to go before. I know there will be challenges with it, but I really don't think there will be that many more people. And one of the other options may be that it may have to go to a larger venue where people can voice their opinions, and that's another option as well. That this may be a consideration that this is way too hot a topic, and we may need to have a larger size to be able to discuss this particular issue. So I'm really thankful for more options being given, and I would encourage you to do so.
Thank you. Yes.
Ashmi Nayan, I live in Valemount, and I also want to say thank you to Councillors Hollie and MacLean for supporting this public comment being moved up. And I want to say, often when there have been difficult decisions, I haven't heard a discussion around certain facts that some might know and maybe councillors know, but it just feels like I would like to speak to it from being one who regularly attends meetings. So I'm glad for you guys going to try it, and I realize it's going to be tough, and I'm sure we'd be glad to see this outcome as well. So thank you.
Yes.
My name's Jennifer Scheller. I'm from Valemount. I just want to comment on the Via Rail comment. I had a similar situation in the summer, and we had a hygienist come up from Vancouver, and trying to get home, her train was supposed to be in at, I think it was 4 in the morning, and she was phoning for updates every half an hour, and they kept saying, oh, it's coming, and anyways, she ended up missing it by a few minutes because she had to go and find a washroom. There was no washroom there, and she didn't feel comfortable going in the woods because she's scared of the bears. So she had to repeat the whole process the next day. I went with her, and the train was late again, but she got on it. And so I ended up writing a letter in August to Via Rail and to Mark Garneau in Ontario. I can't remember Via Rail's response, but Mark Garneau's response was basically, he didn't know where we were here in the West. He was telling me about the improvements in Ontario and Quebec, and I felt like I was just being pushed aside. So if you guys can pursue something for a shelter there and a washroom, that would be great.
Maybe we can include a map of where we are when we...
In the world.
Yeah. Further comments? Hearing none. Motion for receipt. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor MacLean. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Item 15.1, notice to proceed in camera that council proceed to an in-camera council meeting for the consideration of one item per section 91C of the community charter to discuss matters related to subsection C, labor relations or other employee relations. Motion, please. Councillor G, Councillor Pearson, all in favor? Opposed, carried.